Going into week 3 was definitely one where we felt we were confident. We just came off of a fresh bye week, and I feel like we started to find our rhythm with our team, but we didn't know our identity yet on offense or defense.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were going to do with our lineup. We didn't know who was playing. We didn't know, what was best for the team. So there was a lot of kinks that we had to work out. And so at the same time, early in the season, in anything, you have to establish an identity. We were looking to do that. We did it last year super early. It worked out well because later on in the season you end up having an edge on a lot of teams, and we were trying to do the same.
We were actually feeling pretty good. Like practices leading up to that week, we were pretty confident. We had a pretty good game plan.
The biggest impression we had of the 76ers was they were a young team, but they were very talented. They had a former MVP, and they had a guy that was basically going to win Rookie of the Year, so we knew how to play defense.
Well, we knew Dre was one of the toughest guards in the league. He's a rookie, but he was playing like a vet, They just got former MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, one Wild Walnut.
We were just going in knowing that they were going to be one of the tougher teams in the East, and we went in with the mindset and we just wanted to go in with a sweep and get our seasons going in the right direction.
We felt prepared. We knew they were going to be prepared. It was going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough game that game, but we're still trying to figure out our defensive rotations. We're not hitting our open shots. It was definitely a battle in that game.
3-5-point game, so it was a gritty win and we needed it.
We were feeling good, coming off the win obviously, but we knew we had to play better going into game 2. I think our dynamic as a team wasn't necessarily identified yet, and we knew we had to really be on our P's and Q's going into game 2.
Again, I feel like the chemistry wasn't 100% there. The rotation defensively wasn't there, and again, missing open shots, and a lot of us just weren't hitting our shots that game. That was definitely a tough series against those Philly boys over there.
It happens. We played great defense. It was one of those things. Our shots just didn't fall. Going home, it was a very quiet walk home with me, Deanie, and Justin. But we understood what was going to happen in the near future, so we just kind of stayed above water and just went into the next series with our head high.
So that was a big week for us. We knew the Warriors were going to give us a really tough series. We knew we couldn't come in at 90%. We had to be 100% as a unit. We took initiative in that week to do so, and that Warriors series was a big turning point for us.
Biggest thing with the Warriors was we just beat them in the finals last year, so obviously it's a big rivalry. Obviously we wanted to beat them, but we understood that our team wasn't even close to where we wanted it to be. Our defense wasn't, and it showed in the first game.
After game 1, it was quiet in here.
They came out, they hit us in the mouth. I feel like like I said, our defense was just not there for game 1. I don't know what was going on. It just seemed like we weren't in unison. It seemed like everybody was out of sync that game.
That's one of those things where you're like, all right, we gotta fix something. Nobody knew what to do, but we gotta fix something.
So Coach Pat, he came in and he just made a really big move. He said, "Be Rich, you're going in at shooting guard, and Deanie, you're going back to the 4." And he subbed LeBron out, and that pretty much changed everything.
So adaptability is big on this team, and I think for a championship team, everybody has to buy into the role. So me as a 6-man, I was bought in as a 6-man. I trust the system, I trust the process, and I realized when my name's called though, I gotta be ready. And then Pat came in after game 1, told me let's go. I said let's go.
It's definitely a huge move because the thing with us was Deanie hadn't played the power forward all year. He hasn't had any shots at it. Brandon's had minimal practice at shooting guard. Braun hadn't took one scrim off, so it was one of those things that Pat kind of took a shot in the dark, and it worked.
Game 2 against the Warriors with the new lineup, everything was clicking for the most part on defense, offense. Everything was clicking for us.
We won the game. At that point, Pat was just like, okay, this is our lineup, and I think that's when the momentum really started to take off.
Things that we felt like we had an identity again. We had our defense back. We understood what we needed to do. We understood that we could basically win games on defense again.
After that week, we just took off.
So leading up to the series against the Nets, we knew it was going to be a big series. The Nets were a hot team. So that week we were pretty focused in practice, pretty focused on keying in on, how we were going to prepare for the Nets. And out of nowhere, Pat gets a call and he has to go.
Well, we're sitting there watching film and Pat just gets up, starts packing his stuff up. He's like, hey man, I'm going to see y'all later. Y'all can take care of it. It was nothing else, nothing more.
Yeah, when Pat got the call that that his wife was going into labor with his firstborn, we told Pat, don't worry about it. Don't think about 2K this week. Don't think about nothing. Just go. We got it. Even though we were going against a team that was also kind of hot at the time, we didn't want him to worry about it. We didn't want him to think about it. We wanted him to focus on Katie and his newborn baby girl.
We understand that, there's bigger things in life than 2K. Pat was having a baby. At the same time, we realized, like, hey, we got to step up as a unit, and that's what we did.
So, game one, 76-70. Wasn't really our, greatest game, but it wasn't a bad game. It was a good game.
This game, we actually were down 6 going into halftime, and we ended up coming out on top in the second half. And I think that's the biggest thing that kind of showed the chemistry, that showed that our defense, will get us stopped so that we can get back in the game.
We were getting much more comfortable with each other following game one, leading into game two, and we also felt like they were a little bit demoralized, and we knew if we capitalized on that early, everything was kind of going to be smooth sailing from there on out. And I think we had a pretty decent lead going into the half, and we just knew, like, keep our foot on the gas, keep applying pressure. And that's what we did, and they eventually folded, and we didn't.
Crossover tonight. Let's go. That's it, bro. That's huge, bro. Come on, baby.
After sweeping the Nets, we got Toronto coming up. We're feeling confident, especially after sweeping Chalk and the Nets. Like, they were a hot team. We really game planned hard for them, and now we got to focus on Toronto.
Yeah, so in game one, we kind of understood that their morale was down, their confidence was down. We knew our confidence was at all-time high. We just had to come in and take care of business.
Game one against the Raptors, it was easy for us to, not to say it like that, but it was honestly easy.
Okay.
The Raptors, they're a good team, but we're just in the groove that day.
Yeah, game two, 76-44. We were just out there having fun, man. I move up, somebody's got my corner. He goes that way, I go that way. We were just moving and grooving, man.
Yeah, so that fourth game of that week, so that was, obviously we 2-0 the Nets. It was the second game against the Raptors. We kind of hit our stride. We were like, all right, we're 3-0 in a week. Let's do this for Pat now.
We were enjoying ourselves. It was nice to get the better end of that matchup for the third time. They beat up on us a little bit last year, and we felt like we owed them one, and we've definitely got them back this year.
First sweep week of the season was crazy. I think everybody went to Jack's apartment after that, and we all ordered food, and we watched the rest of the games together, and it was just great vibes. Braun was a great six-man for us that week, but the biggest takeaway was the vibes were at all-time high, and the confidence were at all-time high for us.
We knew that whenever the baby was coming, that it was going to be for Pat and his family and for his new baby girl, and we just wanted to go 4-0 that week, just to, that way he didn't have to worry about nothing. He didn't have to think about nothing.
This is big for him. So we was like, let's do it for Pat and his daughter and his wife, and that's what we did.
He wasn't there, but he was there. We kind of felt his presence in the room, and it was super nice to do that for him, and take some weight off his back. He just had a kid, and I think that was a pretty fun week for Pat.
Yeah, I think he had his baby after the Nets game. It was definitely one of those things that brought our team together a lot more, and it was during a delicate time during our team. We were 5-3. We just had a new lineup change, but we understood that we all been there before, so we all know what to do, and we just did it.
Baby Danielle is the 7th man, for sure. She's our little sharpshooter.